Raw Rats at chess.com to continue my video series on the correspondence team match played between my video lessons group and the team CARPE DIEM. This was played on board 104. Our man is Bravehorse, high 1700s versus ARIMAT, low 1600s. Anyway, this is a real long game. I'm going to rush through the end once it becomes apparent it's a draw. It could have been a much shorter game, as we'll see. Both sides had their chances. Let's run through it. Okay. And we have a Sicilian defense, and now it becomes what they call the Sveshtikov, and it follows theory for a little bit. I checked the opening on my database, and this is all straight out of the book. It's been played countless times before. But somewhere right around here, white deviates, and then soon is going to pick up an advantage because black doesn't handle it very well, as we will see here. Now the black king is kind of caught in the center, but if the white king castles kingside, maybe white is going to have to undergo an attack. Black is positioning himself that way, and now that this exchange on f3 is not necessarily good. It just developed the white queen, and black has some problems here. His pawn structure is really not mobile at all. White's isn't all that great himself, and white's even down a pawn. But look at black's development. Most everything he owns is on the back rank, and white's already got 3 pieces in place. So I think it's safe to say white has full compensation for the pawn, and white continues to develop. Now there's a threat on h6, and black just ignores it, and white just happily collects the pawn to regain material equality. And now this knight has some problems. There's some discovery threats on it, and we'll see what happens here. The knight goes to centralize itself. Now this knight is ideally posted at stopping a check on c2, but here white's going to win some material. And he takes with the king because taking with the queen would just run into trouble. Let's see, queen takes, you're just going to lose this rook for nothing, right? Okay, so he takes with the king. And now black is down the exchange. He has some compensation for it. White spent most of his developed pieces gathering this material. And now black actually has a lead in development. All 4 of his pieces are presumably in play here. White still hasn't castled, so his king is caught in the center. But still, I'd rather be up the exchange than down it. But at least black has the same number of pieces. And white starts to drift here. His next move is just a horrible blunder, and black fails to realize that black can win this game pretty quickly. It's not an easy thing to see. You have to work on it. But here's the move. I won't put a quiz on it. Rook takes g2. And this just gives white all kinds of problems. Like, for instance, knight takes, the queen takes, and there's a threat on the rook, winning the other rook. There's a threat of checkmate, and white just can't deal with all these threats. He can't even castle queenside to save himself, because then queen c2 is mate. So obviously this rook can't be taken, and if white tries to run out by castling, black just infests the white position. This move threatens queen takes e3 check. The rook is still off limits. If knight takes, queen checks, and let's see here, I'll show you. Knight takes, I think it's queen takes, or queen check, and then let's see. Oh wait, bishop check. Bishop check will do it, and white's going to lose. He can throw his queen and his rook away to stop mate, and for a couple of moves, and that's it. So really, white is hard pressed to find a defense in this position. There's just too many threats for black. You defend this. This way, let's see. there comes. I'm trying to remember all this. You could take this pawn and threaten a knight check. You could check with the bishop. Well, that's not a check. Let's see. You could play the bishop here, and he can't take it because queen check. Suffice it to say, White's very busted here, and if you want to work it out on your own, go ahead. I just want to move on because this ends up being a long game. But Black missed a win there, and I still favor White here simply because of the material. But White's going to end up misplaying his advantage. You know, here he's getting the queens off. He's getting everything he wants. So the objective now should be run that h-pawn. You know, White's got a pass pawn. Run it. Run it up the board and tie Black down to defending it. That's the winning strategy. Instead, White kind of whiffles back and forth with his pieces. You know, White put the knight on e1. It was in play. Let's see. Let's go back here. Well, he had to move the knight, but you know, I'm talking about h4. I forgot to mention the knight needed to go. But anyway, you don't need to move the knight. It was fine right where it's at. Just start running this pawn, and then you can get the knight in play. Start tying Black down to defending that. Anyway, Black tries to get his pawns going. Now here he takes his rook from behind the h-pawn, which, you know, he should have been running. And suddenly now he allows Black to get a pass pawn. Black actually has two pass pawns. White can blockade him, but suddenly Black is getting play he shouldn't necessarily have had. And now the Black knight's ready to run into d3. And White might have to start thinking about returning the exchange here in a moment, but he has to be careful of the right time to do it. Anyway, Black's looking really good. He didn't have this hope just a few moves ago, but White's let him in, and here's this h-pawn not being run. That would have really tied Black in knots. Anyway, now the pawn's making it to the 7th rank, and White still can't give back the exchange. Oh, he's not able to in this position. He will be in a moment. He still can't give back the exchange because there's a trick. There's deflection. You make a queen with check, and let's see, the knight takes, and then you take this guy with check, and if the king takes, nothing's protecting f1. If the king comes back to e1, the pawn checks again, and the same trick's involved, and White's gonna drop his knight on f1. So there has to be a right time to do it, and now White starts mobilizing his pass pawns on the king side, and now he finds the right time to do it. Now he can get away with it. However, Black has enough compensation now in the fact that his rook is active that he can now hold the game. And real quick, this game is going to reach a theoretical draw, and I'm going to run through the moves. There's probably several 3-move repetitions. But this position is a draw. Black's going to drop a pawn here, but it shouldn't matter, and it won't matter. We'll see how he loses the pawn. He's going to surround the pawn on b4. And as long as Black's careful, he won't lose this. And I'm just going to run through the moves. You see, we're move 54 now. It goes just over 100 moves, so I'm just going to go through with very little comments. And, you know, here White couldn't trade rooks because he'll drop his 2 pawns. So Black should probably be just the simplest way to draw is cut the king off over here. Get him cut off. But he doesn't adopt that strategy, and now the king comes closer, but it really doesn't matter, but it would have been more effective. And see here, Black can just keep checking White. And they should agree to a draw, really. There's nothing going on here. And White can't make any progress. And like I say, now we're at move 72. We still have over 30 moves to go. Let's just click through these to make it official and move on to the next game. You know, like I say, it sure looks like there was probably a 3rd move repetition in here, but nobody claimed it. But it doesn't really matter, you know. Unless Black blunders, White can't make progress. It's just that simple. And now we're up to move 91, so we're almost there. He doesn't trade. Although, let's see, I guess just for the fun of it, could he have traded here? Rook takes, king b4, king c6, king takes b3, a5. Nope, he couldn't, because king b4 is met by king b6 and black cries. Okay, just thought I'd throw that in. But you know, the game is a draw, but you know, the way people move fast in online chess, they could have gotten 30 moves in a day here. Who knows? If this was played by postcard, it would really be annoying, throwing away money and so forth, and finally the game ends in a draw. Okay, let's reset, flip the board, bring in the other game. Will it start us at move 1 like it's supposed to? No, it doesn't. Look at that. Move 23. How does it pick these numbers to start the game at? I don't know. Okay. So, Queen's Gambit accepted. Both sides are developing. It looks a little reasonable. This bishop is probably slightly misplaced here, but this is still theory. I think it's always better to on e7. But anyway, it still followed opening theory. And so, you know, objectively the game's still roughly even. Both sides are getting their pieces developed. Here's white moving a rook pawn, but not really going to criticize that too much. But what's going to happen here is, okay, black has weakened his queen side, but what's going to happen here is black gets his pieces on the queen side misplaced, going for material. Now this move is going to drop a pawn. Okay, so here it comes. And now white collects a pawn. So now, like I say, black is going to be trying to, well, I guess he didn't win any material on the queen side, but it gets misplaced on the queen side. White anchors his passed pawn in. Oh yeah, there's the pawn. Okay, but you see, there's a problem with black's strategy here. This knight is loose, and the knight is guarding the bishop, and white just starts applying threats. Now, if the knight moves, the bishop's lost. So black needs to go this way, and white just centralizes his rook, and black saves his knight. But suddenly, this knight becomes very strong, and all of a sudden, black is faced with two passed pawns staring him down the throat, and there's really nothing he can do about them advancing. And now he just gives away a piece, walks right into a pin. Whoops! And there goes the bishop. There goes the queen back, and black's going to blunder again here. He doesn't remember that bishop can move backwards, and now white's 2 pieces up. And here come the pawns. And black played one more move and resigned without waiting for white to finish. So really not much to that game. Like I say, black got a little discombobulated over on the queen side, after gaining space on the king side. Let's just show it again. After gaining some space on the king side here, even though it weakened his own position, he needs to think about, a better place for this knight. The c7 pawn is reasonably safe. This knight should think about coming back to b7 and maybe trying to get into c5. Although white could play b4, the knight can still find a way back into the game, and black could generate some counterplay with an a4 move. The white bishops aren't doing a whole lot here. I think black can hold on. Maybe he'll have a slight disadvantage, but he shouldn't lose quickly as he did here. Anyway, I still have several more videos to make. The match is now just over 75% done. There's still a lot of potential videos to make. It just depends on the results. I'm playing catch-up still. It's mainly because we clinched the match, and I'm now honoring anybody that gets a 1-1 score as long as they win one game. I'm doing the video of their win. But we'll get them all done, and we'll get them all caught up before we know it. Thanks so much.